Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a really interesting deep dive today. It seems almost intensely specific, a single bug fix.
Right, but sometimes those tiny things tell a much bigger story, especially in tech.
Exactly. And this one, well, it reveals so much about, like, the cutting edge of OS development and the whole world of free and open source software, or FOSS.
It's a perfect test case, really. You're seeing this crucial moment where a brand new computing environment, Cosmic in this case, clashes with established software.
Yeah, and our source is this detailed report from someone right on the front lines, an early adopter stress testing this new setup.
Beta testing in action.
So our mission, basically, is to distill that report. The scenario seems simple, but it was actually crippling for the user. They upgraded to the POP, OS 24.04 Cosmic Beta.
Which is a pretty bold move in itself, jumping onto a beta OS.
Right, and they found the drop-down menus in MuseScore, the music notation software, they just vanished. Completely gone.
Oof. Yeah, if you can't click File or Edit, that specialized software is pretty much dead in the water.
Totally. So this really highlights what beta testing is all about, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's about confirming if the complex, real-world tools people actually depend on, not just like the web browser work on the new stack, even the smallest hiccup can stop work cold.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit more. Why Pop OS? Why was this user running it even before the Cosmic Beta? They actually came from Fedora.
Yeah, the report gives us a neat insight there. Apparently they switched years ago because Fedora, it just wouldn't recognize a generic USB game controller out of the box.
Wow.
But Pop OS worked immediately, so it shows Pop. The OS already have this reputation for better hardware compatibility right out of the gate. That's a big deal when choosing your main OS.
Okay, so they got a solid base, but then they really took the plunge, didn't they? Testing the brand new Cosmic Desktop.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting.
For listeners who maybe aren't deep into Linux dev, we should probably explain what Cosmic actually is and why it's such a big deal.
Right. So Cosmic is System76's huge project. They're rebuilding their desktop environment for PopRest from the ground up, completely new.
And the key technical bit, it's built using Rust.
Exactly, Rust, which everyone's talking about because of its memory safety, its performance. It's a very modern language choice.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, using Rust means System76 isn't just, putting a new theme on Genome or KDE.
No, not at all.
They're replacing the absolute fundamental code that handles the GUI. Everything you see, windows, buttons, menus, the whole visual foundation.
Precisely. And when you rebuild that core layer from scratch, you inevitably introduce, well, let's call it architectural friction.
Friction?
Yeah, like applications such as MuseScore probably use an older established way to draw things, maybe the CUDA toolkit. Suddenly, they're asking this brand new graphics stack built in Rust to draw a menu.
And the new stack says, sorry, don't understand that request.
Yep. Kind of. Or it doesn't handle it the way the application expects. That's where the menu failure likely happened. It looks like a bug, but it's really a deep architectural mismatch.
Wow. Okay, but the user must have seen some real appeal in Cosmic to risk all this. They weren't just, like, checking email.
No, definitely not.
They mentioned wanting Cosmic's features, the tiling desktop, the speed, responsiveness, and crucially, the NVIDIA support.
Right. That NVIDIA support is key. The report confirms they were using a pretty beefy setup.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned using that NVIDIA card, a GeForce RTX 3060, for running local large language models.
So a proper power user, really pushing the limits, not just a casual tester.
And the specs back that up. Pop OS, 24.04 LTS, the Cosmic DE Beta, kernel 6.16.3, paired with an AMD FX 8370 CPU.
Which is an older CPU, interesting choice there, shows they're testing broader compatibility.
And that modern RTX 3060 GPU, so a robust test bed.
Exactly. High-performing setup, meticulously configured, and yet you open MuseScore, this well-established app, and boom, basic interface elements just break.
It really makes the failure of something as simple as a drop-down menu stand out, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, so the scene is set. Powerful machine, cutting-edge OS in Rust. But this critical flaw pops up immediately, the menu crisis. And it wasn't just a glitch. It started in the alpha, the report says, and it was still there in the beta. MuseScore 4.5.2, menus just wouldn't show up, period.
So you're caught, right? You want to help test this cool new Rust desktop, this future vision.
Yeah.
But your main creative tool, your FOSS notation software, is bricked.
It's the classic beta blocker, grinds everything to a halt.
Yep.
But here's where it gets kind of wild, the dedication involved. Since the menus didn't work in Cosmic natively,
Yeah.
what did the user do?
Ah, the workaround.
It's something else.
They installed an entirely different desktop environment, KDE Plasma.
Let's just pause on that for a second. That's not like tweaking a config file. That's downloading and installing a whole other complex OS environment. Hundreds of megabytes, maybe gigabytes of software just to get menus in one application working. It feels like architectural brute force, like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Well, maybe, but it tells you how severe that architectural conflict we talked about really was.
How so?
By switching to KDE Plasma, even temporarily, the user was swapping out that fundamental graphics layer. KDE Plasma uses its own, much older, very established stack.
Ah, and that stack knew exactly how to handle MuseScore's requests.
Precisely. MuseScore asks for a menu using its Qt toolkit. KDE's stack says, sure, here you go, draws it perfectly. Problem solved, temporarily.
But the cost.
Yeah.
You've now got system bloat, 2 sets of settings, potentially fighting each other, redundant background services.
Oh, absolutely. Massive overhead. Running 2 full desktop systems side by side, it's messy.
It really underlines how desperate the tester must have been to just keep working, keep testing Cosmic, keep gathering data.
It speaks volumes, about dedication to FOSS testing, definitely. But it also shows how quickly these seemingly small compatibility bugs can spiral into huge operational complexity for the user.
Okay, but let's get to the good part, the resolution. Because there was one.
Thankfully, yes.
The good news came with MuseScore 4.6, a new release. And this update, it seems, was the magic bullet. It fixed the compatibility bug properly.
Right, and this is where that detailed report really shines. The user didn't just, say, yup, fixed.
No.
No, they went through meticulously, checked everything, confirmed that all the standard menus were back working perfectly inside the native Cosmic environment.
So file, edit, view, add, format, tools, plugins, help, all of them.
All of them. Drawn correctly, interacting correctly. It proves the MuseScore devs figured out how to talk to the new Rust Cosmic graphics stack properly. They adjusted their GUI calls.
And it wasn't just the basic menus, was it? The report mentioned sound plugins, too.
Exactly. More than just menus. They checked the Muse Sounds Manager, made sure it worked, loaded up all the sound libraries. Strings, woodwinds, brass, percussion, choir, harp, keys, guitars, drumline, the whole lot.
Wow.
So full functionality restored. Not just writing the notes, but hearing them back correctly, too. Both core parts of MuseScore 4 were working again.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? This one update fixes everything.
Well, it validates MuseScore's own code, shows it's adaptable, but more importantly, maybe, it confirms Cosmic is maturing fast enough to handle these complex, vital apps.
And crucially, it meant the user could ditch that massive workaround.
Exactly. No more need for the KDE Plasma installation. The system could finally become what it was meant to be.
Which leads us to the final act, the cleanup, the digital hygiene part.
The satisfying part, tearing down the scaffolding, as it were.
Right. With the fix confirmed in MuseScore 4.6, the user could finally uninstall KDE Plasma. That's the final step in a successful beta test cycle, isn't it? Cleaning up the hacks.
Absolutely. Restoring system integrity. And the report details exactly how they did it, which is useful. They used the apt command line tool, standard for POP-OS.
And there were 2 key commands mentioned. First, the big one, sudo apt purge Kubuntu desktop KDE standard Plasma desktop.
Yeah, and purge is the important word there. It's stronger than just remove.
How so?
Purge aims to get rid of the configuration files associated with the packages too, not just the programs themselves. Leaves fewer leftovers from the temporary environment. Much cleaner.
Got it. And then the second command, the one people often forget.
Sudo apt auto remove. Crucial step.
Why is that?
Because installing KDE Plasma pulls in tons of other little packages, dependencies that KDE needs, but nothing else on the system might. Auto remove finds all those now orphaned packages and clears them out.
Ah, so it prevents all that digital cruft building up over time.
Exactly. It gets the system back to being lean and mean, dedicated just to Cosmic as intended, minimizes conflicts, saves space.
So looking back at this whole saga, it's really not just a story about menus or music software, is it?
Not at all. It's a perfect illustration of that essential feedback loop in open source. It can be painful for the testers on the front line.
Definitely sounds like it here.
But it's necessary. You need that cycle.
What cycle is that exactly?
The identification of a problem, often an architectural one like this, then the communication back to the developers in this case, both System 76 for Cosmic and the MuseScore team, then the application developers deploying a patch.
Like MuseScore 4.6.
And finally, the early adopters verifying the fix. It's dynamic, can be messy, but it leads to a stronger, cleaner system for everyone else down the line.
The users experience the pain points first, so broader adoption is smoother later on.
That's the idea.
So we took this deep dive into, well, the case of the missing menu, and we came out with, I think, a much clearer picture of the real challenges in building a new DE like Cosmic and Rust,
Yeah, the architectural hurdles.
and the sheer dedication needed for beta testing, plus that final satisfaction of cleaning up the system afterwards. It's Saul's story, but it shows fundamental progress in FOSS.
And think about this. That relatively simple incompatibility forced a knowledgeable user into installing a huge workaround, right? A whole second desktop environment just to keep going.
Yeah, crazy when you put it like that.
Now the bug's fixed, the system's clean, efficient, running purely on the modern Cosmic architecture. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Wonder what?
What other small, maybe seemingly trivial software bugs are out there right now, forcing other power users into these massive, complex, behind-the-scenes workarounds? And how close are they to getting their MuseScore 4.6 moment, that critical fix that lets them simplify everything again?
That is a great question to mull over. Well, we definitely encourage you, the listener, to maybe explore these ideas further. Desktop environments, Rust in OS design, that whole FOS community feedback loop. It's fascinating stuff. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.